Hello everyone, we are at Celtic Park where it's got very quiet, Stevie. It's only probably like 20 minutes since the full-time whistle went, but it's very quiet. It's very different to weekend, when we're usually doing this and there's people milling about and you can't hear us for kids screaming in the background. There is nobody kind of over there. Well, there's a few people milling about, but it's very quiet. I have no idea why I'm telling you all this.
Hold on.
What's this?
You can carry on the podcast, mate. I was just checking that everything was alright with Father. You like that one,
Stevie told me this before. He said, I'm going to have a bit of patter, and I didn't think it was going to be good. That was average, mate. That was alright. What is that about? Can we get that away early on? Because, see, like, when you're watching games down south, I don't know if, like, I know they check every single VAR goal. That's what they do. They check it for infringements, but they don't hold up the restart for every VAR goal when you watch games down south, Germany, Spain, etc. All 3 goals tonight, play was held up for, albeit maybe only 5 seconds the first couple of times, maybe 30 seconds the third time, but it's just like, and that was a joke. Did you see the thing coming on the screen as well?
And then offside.
Yeah.
And then you're like, what else?
People have a go at us because they don't want us to talk about VAR, so we've got it out of the way early on.
Yes.
3-0 against Livingston we won tonight. I thought first half was excellent. Second half almost sent me to sleep. Is that your assessment?
Pretty much, yeah. And I think there's a lot of Celtic fans out there that said the same thing. Speaking to some of the big guys that I met coming out the ground, they said the same. First half magic, second half, well, I don't want to say tragic because we won the game, but it was like, come on. But you're also like, a lot of that was down to Livingston and how they played as well. Now, I want to do a shoot in Livingston later, honestly, the murder, but for now we'll keep it positive because Celtic does what Celtic does, if you will.
You're full of it tonight, aren't you?
I know, I had 2 pies, but so, I really did.
This is midweek, Stevie. You don't often get to see midweek, Stevie.
No, but we had to just win the game. 3 points was the minimum sort of required there, and fair play to Celtic for killing it in the first half. But I did think you messaged in the chat during the game, maybe this is one we're going to take like 4 or 5 off him. I would love it as well, especially for his cheek during the week too, but 3 points it is, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, that was my big hope, that when it went to 3-0 and we were sparkling and we could have scored, far more in that first half. Jota had one at the back post that I don't know how he doesn't connect with it because it was an open goal. And I just thought in general that first half was a really good performance. People were buzzing about. Matt O'Reilly came into the team and I thought, first half he was really good. He was getting involved. He was picking up really good areas. Dyson Maeda, who kind of probably had a kind of poorer first half by his standards in terms of like things like controlling the ball and that. A couple of wayward passes, one that nearly got Callum McGregor injured. But I thought again the areas he was picking up was excellent. So in many ways he actually had a good first half, which kind of sums up where I'm coming from. But Real Hatate, everyone. Real Hatate. He would make you want to get out of bed in the morning watching that guy. He's a complete joy to watch.
Class player, he really is. I couldn't find a fault in his performance at all. It was really mesmerising at times in that first half. Celtic were great, I thought, but I got to say with Dyson Maeda, I noted down here that I thought he played very well today.
Yeah.
And him and Greg Taylor linked up so well as well. Got to say a lot more, but Taylor was just marvellous that first half and took his goal brilliantly. I thought his goal was a lot like Callum McGregor's against Aberdeen.
Alright.
Maybe I was alright. It was inside the box.
Good bit closer in, and McGregor's wasn't in the top corner.
But alright, Hamish. No, Hatate was great. He really was. And you're mentioning Matt O'Reilly, his quick thinking set up the third for Kyogo as well.
Yeah.
I was surprised that when he launched it so quickly, I was like, oh. And then it's a great goal with Kyogo, the way that he created space and made it 3 and just killed it. But no, the first half performance alone, like after the first maybe 15 minutes or so, as soon as we made it 1-0, Celtic were just flying and couldn't fault any of them.
Because Livy were doing the same thing that we've seen from the majority of teams in Scotland. They were slowing the play down. I think that the referee, Nick Walsh, actually had a word with the Livy keeper after like 10 minutes, and I was stunned. Pathetic?
It is pathetic. No, from Nick Walsh, from the goal. For once, no Nick Walsh, the goalie. I don't know what he was playing at, but it was just
it's what every goalkeeper does when they come to Celtic Park.
You're never going to get away with it though. The ref is
they
going
usually
to add on
do.
time.
Usually, I mean, that's why I'm saying I was surprised that Nick Walsh went over and actually had a word. Don't get me wrong, I was screaming at him to actually book him. I'm like, what is the point in going over and telling him not to do it? Book him, and then he certainly won't do it again. But I think Celtic made him not do it again by scoring goals. And I always think when a team like Livingston comes to Celtic Park with a game plan of containment and that's all they did. We looked at the clock, 25 minutes gone. I turned to my mate and I said, and I know it's hard to believe I've got mates, but we'll start over that. I said to him, Livingston have done nothing here. All they've done is punt the ball forward to Bruce Anderson. That's all they have done in the entire game. But I think when teams come with a game plan like that to Celtic Park and we score goals, it becomes so difficult for them. Scott McDonald spoke about that with St Mirren a couple of weeks ago, and he said they come with this game plan, and if Celtic score an early goal, the opposition are kind of left going, right, what do we do now? And I felt there's a bit of that with Livingston tonight, and we just completely overran them in that first half. I mean, it was complete dominance. They couldn't get out at all, and some of the football we played, as we say again, the word mesmerising.
And that's the thing, isn't it, with Livingston? Remember that? I mean, that myth is over now. I know they had that weird hoodoo over Ange for the first couple of games, and they used to always give us the fear and all that when Lennon was up against them too. And I guess they earned that status, but the way that Ange now knows what you're going to get and what you're up against with Livingston, he's battered them.
I think that's 3-0. 3-0 at theirs earlier in the season.
3-1, 3-0.
No, 3-0 tonight. 3-0 at theirs earlier in the season. 3-1 last season at theirs, and 2-1 here. So 4 wins in a row against them.
A true underdog story, Hamish. It really is. Well done, Celtic. Nah, I mean that whole myth has been shattered now with Livingston of being this difficult stuff for a team to play against. You know what they are, and they're going to play like that against everyone. But I think Celtic now have the players to break them down, and we've now, we know what system to deploy to break them down. And if you saw tonight, I mean, Daizen Maeda, I think, was just key to unlocking them time and time again.
I should say, by the way, folk are going to be bashing away their keyboard at the moment in the comments saying, I can't believe Hamish said Maeda was poor. What I mean by that was I thought he was quite slack at times in the first half, but in terms of being an option, I mean, it turns me on to see Greg Taylor in the middle of the park turning onto that left foot and Maeda just darting in. It's my favourite set. It used to be Callum McGregor dropping the shoulder, but now that's it. And Maeda, see, if you watch him, a move will happen and Maeda will make a run, the ball won't come to him, but he doesn't stand with his kind of hands on his hips. He goes again, and there was a good example of that today. He made a run, didn't get it, and then I don't know if you remember in the second half, a ball was then kind of flighted over to him and he kind of put it wide of the post. And I just loved Daizen Maeda at the moment.
Ball in, it was a belter.
I didn't think Jota was offered nearly as much as the weekend, to be honest. I mean, he was still fine, but I didn't think it was as good.
I think a lot of that's down to the fact that he was playing the right. I mean, I know statistically as well, though, that I've read that Jota, his output is far more productive in the right, but I just prefer watching him in the left. I think he's more comfortable.
Yeah, I'm surprised at that, because definitely in the left he looks far more threatening to me. You saw that on Sunday, but I think Maeda does as well. I think Jota can play in the right. I'm not sure Maeda can. Is that an issue at all going forward, the fact that so many of our wingers, those two, I think Haksabanovic as well, look so much better on the left?
I don't know. I mean, it depends on the quality of the player we're up against, though, right? And so far, certainly in the league, we're not going to come up against a lot of naturally athletic and competent right backs, I would say.
Yeah.
I think for the majority of the time we will get away with it. In Europe, it's a different story. But it's a key point that a lot of our players do look comfortable. Like Jota, as you say, Daizen and Haksabanovic shouting on the left. But I think the main thing is Ange wants his wingers interchanging and all that as well, and they're going to have to adapt if they want to stay in the system.
That's the thing when you watch Celtic at the moment, and Ange touched on this I think yesterday at his press conference. Players you think of, fullbacks are an obvious one, you think of like Greg Taylor or Alistair Johnson, they're fullbacks. They don't play there. Like, Greg Taylor plays as a centre mid more than he plays as a fullback. He's kind of linking the play in the midfield. McGregor's dropping in deeper. Numerous other players are switching wingers. We've got kind of Matt O'Reilly and Hatate playing out in the wings at times. I mean, this Celtic team is just so fluid at the moment. And when you've got Kyogo spearheading the attack, you're just always going to score goals. I mean, that guy is just such a threat. His movement is so good. He could have scored 3 goals again tonight. He has to go away with 1, which I thought he took really well. But that first half, I thought we were brilliant. Is there anyone else you kind of want to pick out from the performance?
I've noted again, just like I did on Sunday, I was slightly critical at first of Alistair Johnson for not taking risks, and as soon as we scored and as the game progressed, he started taking more risks, and that's what I want to see. I want to see him in the final third more, but getting into the opposition's box, and he did that a lot in the second half, and I want to see more of that from him. I think when he gets his first assist and maybe first goal, it'll start. It'll kick on for there. I mean, he's not playing bad, and he's not been poor.
No,
it's just that way when you measure him up against a guy like Juranovic. You're like, people are going to compare.
Oh, let it go. He's left. He's left.
I know. No, I've been really happy with Alistair Johnson, how he's played, but I think when he does get that first assist, first goal, he's going to be flying after that.
He's just got such a good engine. I mean, even late on in that game,
he's at left back and all that.
Yeah, he's sprinting down the wing. He's at left back. I love him. I'm kind of declaring my love for a lot of people at the moment. Not you, obviously, but other people. It's difficult coming out because I honestly, if you'd have done this at half time, we'd be absolutely buzzing. I just think second half, I mean, the team are kind of, you can get away with it because they've been so good, and we still won 3-0 tonight, but just maybe expected a wee bit more in the second half. I wanted to see us score a few more goals, maybe expected a wee bit more from the subs as well. Turnbull, Abada, kind of even O came on and didn't really get too much of the ball, which I think you'd maybe hope for a little bit more from them, but in the grand scheme of things, I think another good night's work. We are still 9 points clear. Rangers won tonight, shock against Hearts at Tynecastle, but that's irrelevant, isn't it? I mean, the other teams are irrelevant at the moment as long as we keep winning, and we're now on to how many points, Stevie?
I'm not going to try and be a wido here, I don't know.
67. Hail.
Reminds me of this channel.
Yeah.
I think what I'll note from it is when I saw Rangers' result tonight, and obviously us, I think the gulf between Celtic and Rangers and the rest of the league may be at the biggest in some time. I think the only team that's stopping or taking points off Rangers probably for the foreseeable are us. I think they're going to keep winning. I think we're hopefully going to keep winning, and it's just going to get like that until the end of the season. I'm really not surprised at their result. I know we're not on here to talk about that, but at the same time, you are going to keep an eye on them when they're playing at the same time. Fully expected it though, and at the same time I fully expected us to win before a ball was kicked. But I think the gulf between Celtic, Rangers and the rest of the league maybe at the widest ever.
Certainly, I mean, I can certainly speak for us because we see Celtic every single week, and I mean, teams come here and it's almost unfair at times. I mean, teams come with absolutely no intention of taking the game to us. I'm interested because we've got some bigger teams coming here over the next couple of months. I think we've got obviously Rangers are coming up. I think Hearts, Aberdeen. Maybe you could say they're not bigger at the moment. Hibs likewise, but interesting to see if those teams will come to Celtic Park and have a bit more of a go, or will they very much follow the same kind of playbook as the likes of Livingston tonight. But we're just winning. We're just completely efficient. We have so much quality. You look at the players who didn't even get on the pitch tonight, the likes of Haksabanovic and I can't think of any more now.
Kobayashi didn't come on.
Kobayashi, Ralston, etc.
I was a wee bit disappointed that we didn't see more of Iwata. He only got a few minutes. I was expecting him to come on.
Some idiot had him down as starting on Twitter earlier.
I know, I wonder who that was. Anyway, just a shout though. I said I wanted a shout. There was a bit like, how you're talking about Livingston's time wasting, and seeing the last 5 minutes, right? You're 3-0 down, you're expecting, right, just have a go, play a bit of football. They had a throw like at the right wing area, and the left back sprinted all the way over to take a big long throw and get nowhere with it, and then the last kick of the ball, the goalie like punts it high and long to the right wing to aim at Greg Taylor, and it just goes out the park, and you're like, at that point I was like, come on. I mean, I know Livingston have an identity, right, but it's the worst. It must be one of the worst identities in the league. They're murder, and I know we've got to go back there and play them because they'll definitely be making top six, won't they?
I don't think that's a game that has much fear for us anymore.
No anymore.
The league could well be over by that stage.
And I hope it is. I hope it's like the last game or something. We've clinched the league, hopefully, and you can just play the reserves there or something, or the fringe team, because I just hate playing against them. They just suck the joy right out of football these days. Yeah,
I mean, I don't disagree with that, and I don't want to be too critical of Livingston. I'm aware, they're a small club, but even that support they brought tonight, it was the smallest. I'll stick it on screen right now. The smallest away support I can remember seeing, certainly for a Scottish team coming here. I mean, Real Madrid's was poor earlier in the season, which still stuns me. But Livingston tonight, I mean, I don't know how many fans there are there, but it's not much more than a small bus, put it that way, maybe a minibus. So I mean, you see them playing like that, maybe it doesn't bring a great deal to the league. Maybe we should be a little bit more cheery, because Celtic tonight it is raining here. I'm worried about actually getting home in time tonight by the time I edit this, so apologies about that. We are still 9 points clear. The Celtic support was great tonight. I mean, the numbers again, I think there was at least probably 45,000 here in person tonight. The game sold out again. It was on pay-per-view as well for people at home, and I think they saw a Celtic team certainly in the first half playing good stuff again.
Aye, they were entertained.
And they saw Rio Hatate, which is just, I keep going back to it, just worth the entry fee alone.
And can I just say, anybody that was at the game at half time would have been greeted to the tune of Richard Ashcroft, lovely man. No, lucky man. Lovely man.
You messed up.
I did, I know.
Oh,
I was on some
dear.
run there. No, lucky man was playing by the Celtic Park DJ at
I
half
think that's good, right? But I think when we beat them in the next derby at Celtic Park, they need a bit of Kylie on. I should be so lucky. The Aussie connection, imagine that coming on as Ange walks round the park. That'd be scenes.
Well, I won't be singing and dancing to it, but fair play.
Yeah, can we round this off? Final comment, mate.
That's why I get home. I'm soaking wet, and everybody watching in Australia will probably be having a great time.
Don't mention them.
Well, we're not, but
because then they'll just comment and annoy us further.
yes. And no, last words again. Well done, Celtic. Great first half.
Yes, I would totally agree with that for once. Really good stuff in the first half. Lots of positive performances. And yeah, bye.